Hello, Speed Gaming 3, and welcome to this Week 6 ALTTPR League match between Missing Bow, represented by Houston Baba, and the Sexy Gannons, represented by Phant. I am Minamine, joined today by Bandman25. Bandman, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Just another normal day. Hopefully everybody's doing good at home, ready for another quick race today here of Spoiler Log. I know I am.
Absolutely. So yes, Week 6 is Spoiler Log with a co-pilot Key Sanity variant. So this is a little bit different. We've had Spoiler Log races before. There was a big tournament for that last year. The runners got 15 minutes before the log to study their seed, decide what route they're going to take. None of that this time. This time, they get the spoiler log on go, and the runners aren't going to be looking at the spoiler log. They have a co-pilot. They've got one of their teammates who are going to be reading the spoiler log, telling them where the important items are, and helping them route the seed. So it's really dependent on teams communicating well. Especially things like, how many safeties do they need, and in Key Sanity, you got even more things trying to find those required big and small keys. And just like that, we are off. So both these runners are in a voice call with their teammate. Houston Baba is getting piloted by his teammate Marty. Phant is getting piloted by Freddy. We are not going to get a map check this seed. Number one, it's a Key Sanity, so the map wouldn't show anything without the maps. And we're not going to pick up those maps because everything is in the spoiler. Houston Baba is going to go and set up a Houlihan. This may indicate that something is on Zora, but we've also found early meta, rather than trying to find where the big rupee drops are, it's just easy to set up Houlihan as soon as you can, get those rupees.
Yeah, that's probably definitely a great thing, especially since most people here are gonna not be farming up rupees throughout this seed, so.
Yeah, you might need some. You might need some to get into pod. We can see from our tracker that pod is a red crystal, so we'll need at least 110. We may need something in the pyramid fairy. We might need to pay for Zora. Might need to pay for the bottle vendor. And Houston Baba is farming the 50-50 bushes for bomb.
Yeah, it's probably definitely a good thing, especially since in this round, stopping at a store won't really happen. Granted, Houston Baba does have 265, but I'm probably gonna put my money on that we're gonna be seeing Zora today. So
Get a hammer in blinds well, and we see somebody in chat worried that someone is skipping chests. That's not an issue. In Spoiler Log, that's actually a strategy. The co-pilot is going to be telling the runners what chests are important and which ones aren't. So we see that they're both going for a lot of money. So I think your call about Zora is right, Bandman.
Yeah, and Houston Baba just found himself the big key there at the race game for Tower Harris. So definitely we're going there because you look at our tracker. Looks like he's already got all the crystals and pendants marked. You see that Desert Palace and Pod are our 5-6 crystals, while Misery Mire is our green pendant, while Mire and Turtle Rock both need a Quake medallion to get access to it. So.
And Turtle Rock is a crystal, so we will have to find that Quake medallion today. Phant got the flute off of the bottle vendor, so that accounts for 100 of the rupees that we were farming.
Getting closer to see the good old scam artist. It's kind of nice, though, that the scam artist will be giving us something of value today and not trying to give us something we don't need.
Now, Houston Baba did go through the race game to go and get that big key from Tower of Hera. Suggests maybe there's something in that Tower of Hera big chest, Or maybe something is locked behind that Tower of Hera Moldorm kill and the hookshot is not available.
Yeah, with the new Harapod clip, I mean, it almost seems like the key doesn't really seem important unless you are going for that big key now.
One of the things that can be a bit of a challenge, and we may see in this race, is how well these runners have been practicing. If you're not used to reading the spoiler log, it can be a little bit tricky. If you're not sure which chest is the map chest versus the compass chest versus the a regular key chest, you got to keep out for those, and sometimes that can trip up runners. Phant is heading over to Eastern. No Eastern big key, no bow. Not likely to be able to finish this dungeon unless both of those are in here.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a risky play for him right now, but again, they got the spoiler logs and I don't. So maybe they know, I'm pretty sure they know what they're doing, so.
Houston Baba picking up a red boomerang. Never required, but you know what? Maybe that's something to help with menuing or to get a stun prize.
Another 300 rupees there found there in the thieves' hideout of the Lost Woods.
All right, and that's all Houston wanted out of there. He's getting close to that special Zora money. And Phant into Eastern finds the Moon Pearl in the compass chest, and that's all he wanted to. Just go and grab that and get out.
Definitely have our early Dark World access, even though we're still missing the mitts there on Phant's side. I'm sure that's probably the very next item he's going to get.
All right, we're going to be checking this shovel. What do you think, Man? You think it's a key, or do you think it's a required item, or something in between?
I think it'll be ours. I think it'll be a big key for somewhere. Dig Spot the other day I've seen was the first time in a while I've seen it had anything of value. So I'm going to say it'd be a big key.
All right, let's take a look here. Houston Baba thinking about where he wants to flute. And that is our first sword here at the Dig game. We will need a sword before Ganon's Tower this seed because of Turtle Rock and Skull Woods.
Yeah, definitely nice to have that first sword out of the way. And it really wasn't that far out of the way. I mean, it was one of those that we definitely would have found in passing once we got the shovel.
All right, Phant gonna go into Mini Moldorm Cave. If there is something on Zora, Phant is not quite as high on rupees as Baba is. Baba has made a lot of conscious decisions to go out and get as many rupees as he can. We'll see where he decides to go after picking up his Moon Pearl from Eastern.
Ooh, there's our red cane there, along with the Key of Skull Woods.
And it looks like Baba did not grab that shovel from the dig spot. His co-pilot may have a different first sword in mind for Baba. Do you only need Master Sword to defeat the game? And might have decided that shovel is a little bit too far out of the way. Phant into the Zora area. Gonna see what that refill is. That information is in the spoiler log, and it is fairy. Just picking up the 20 rupees.
It's definitely an interesting play right now. I mean, Phant only has 125 rupees, so he's not going to have enough for Zora, but yet he's still going to Zora ledge, so that definitely tells there's something important there on the ledge. And it's our first glove.
All right, that will be Dark World access for Phant. Still missing big keys in order to clear dungeons, but we are only a swamp small key from being able to go inside there.
Yeah, that'd definitely be a good play. I don't know if I'd want to make it right now for being a pendant, but when it's 10 items, or yeah, 10 items in that dungeon, definitely a good play to make.
All right. Baba doing a similar play now. Gonna go and do his waterfall. No, going to the mini Moldorm came first.
Yeah, he's going to pick up his red cane there as well.
Okay, it is possible that Zora is a sword, and in that case, Phant and Frede made the choice that grabbing that shovel and walking to the shovel spot was quicker than going over there. But since we're going to have to go to the Zora area anyway, maybe farming that rupees was slightly faster. What do you think, Bandman?
Yeah, I think digging up the money probably would have been a little bit faster. But I think both had to be a combination of both, where they would actually get the sword to dig up that sword as well as the rupees. I think it'd probably be more convenient to do it that way. But then again, who knows where all those they know where those swords are at that we don't. So maybe that's more convenient doing it just doing the rupees or the shovel instead of both.
It's easy for us to make that choice, but being able to see the information from both sides. But have to remember here, these co-pilots had no time to study this seed. They got the spoiler log, the runner started racing, and that co-pilot immediately started giving information to the runner as to what information they needed to get.
Yeah, and right now we're at two different places. Phant found the big key to Thieves Town in Dark Cross, while Houston and Baba found the big key to Chora Rock there in in the Ice Rod Cave. So, two definitely very important keys that they're going to need. Not so much for the ice, they're going to need both of them.
All right, Phant now, having grabbed that, is heading over back to Kakariko, likely going to be doing some Village of Outcasts and Skullwoods. We'll see if we can get the co-pilot on screen, but I can inform you all that for Houston Baba, his teammate Marty is doing his co-piloting, and for Phant, it is his teammate Frede. Glove is right there on Zora Ledge, so we had to walk there with the flippers, and Houston Baba going to show us what is here on Zora. I took a quick little look at the spoiler log, and I think that Phant is going to have to double dip the Zora area.
Oh, now that's interesting. That's really interesting, having to double back here.
But we'll see very shortly as Houston Baba gets a Ganon's Tower small key. Okay, so this may be required depending if there is something deep inside Ganon's Tower that we need all those small keys. But on the other hand, this could have just been that Marty misreading the seed and thinking that that was a Ganon's Tower big key.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that they would do that. But then again, I mean, from the spoiler logs I've seen, sometimes these spoiler logs get kind of complicated to read when you think it's one thing, but it's something else. Or they confuse the big chest with the big key chest, so...
Absolutely. The spoiler log does say big key versus key, but for instance, the one on Zora said key A2 Ganon's Tower. But that's how all of the Ganon's Tower small keys look. Houston Baba did float to the mountain, but instead is now fluting back to Link's house, and we are going to see Village of Outcasts from Phant.
Well, with all the items he has, he's got the big key. I mean, he's probably just going to go ahead and complete Thieves Town right now.
Absolutely. Hopefully there is nothing that we'll have to come back for in that vanilla big key chest that requires a small key.
Yeah, and Houston Bob is now making his way to the back of Escape.
All right, this is not something that we saw on Phant's side. Got 5 rupees, some bombs, and a blue boomerang. Okay, that was, I'm not sure if they misunderstood which one that was. We did find something over on the Uncle, but there's a Master Sword in Thieves Town. And it's possible that Marty mistook the sewers chest for the secret chest.
Oh, Master Sword and the Fire Rod in Thieves Town. Oh my.
All right. So yeah, Houston Baba going back now to Uncle. No, is going into the escape. Going back to Dark Cross to get that Thieves Town big key. Maybe that's what they were going to go for, is drop down in the back. But they would have needed the small key for Hyrule Castle and did not have it at that time.
Yeah, that's definitely a costly mistake between trying to go back through Dark Cross the backwards way. But I'm sure that once they realize that as they're going throughout this race, having more time with that spoiler log, that things will finally start to get straightened out.
So Phant showing us one thing that often comes up in spoiler log races. You are on your minimum health and minimum damage. So he is down to 1 heart here in Thieves Town with green mail. Anything touches him, he's going to have to die and restart.
Yeah, that's why these guys are running these games, and I'm not. These guys are very good runners. I'm pretty sure they could get through throughout, especially this dungeon, without getting hit by anything. So.
But it is something that they have to go and make sure communicate with their pilot about. Their pilot may feel comfortable, doing everything on 6 hearts and green mail, but maybe their runner can't and would prefer to grab that blue mail and say, hey, along the way, if you can find it, let's grab it. And Phant does have a fairy, but every second counts in a spoiler log seed. We're probably looking at about an hour and 15, maybe an hour and 20 minutes max for these kinds of seeds.
Yeah, these seeds are definitely fast. When you referred back to earlier to that to the spoiler log tournament over the last summer, man, it seemed like all those races were always around 50 to 55 minutes. I mean, how fast they were done. I mean, I saw a few in the 40s, but man, it was crazy how fast they were, and I expect it to be the same.
Probably not this fast in these seeds because, number one, we have the additional hiccup of key sanity, which of course adds a lot more interest in your routing, as well as the fact that there's no study time.
Yeah, well, Phant just found the Quake, so that gives us access to Turtle Rock and Misery Mire if he needs to get into those.
Absolutely. And Houston Baba is going to go back towards the back of Skull Woods. I think Phant had done this play as well first.
Yeah, he went in here. I believe he got what was in this chest right here, and I think that's all he got.
The shovel was in Blind's hut. Now, I wonder, this could mean that what Houston Baba is going to plan to do is he's got that mirror. Going to probably do the same thing for Thieves Town, since it doesn't matter what sword you have in Thieves Town. He'll get the fighter sword in Thieves Town. Then, while he's doing a South Shore loop, could mirror, grab the key from Blind's hut, do their South Shore loop, and mirror from Stumpy and get that sword if there's something on Stumpy.
Yeah, that's definitely a very good routing on that way, especially if Stumpy has a sword. And what makes things interesting now is Phant actually picked up a second Ganon's Tower key there on Blind. So that just makes me kind of curious of Ganon's Tower now.
You need, in order to full clear the basement, you, as well as climb the tower, you need 3 of the 4 Ganon's Tower small keys.
Sick Kid just gave us a full heart container there.
All right, that's probably some welcome safety for Phant, now at 6 hearts. And there's Baba's first sword.
And it looks like Phant is taking that route that you had talked about a few minutes ago here, talking with Stumpy, getting a key to Dark Palace.
Yeah, so Baba will very likely get that Dark Palace key, and hopefully if he remembers to grab the shovel from Blind's hut, we'll be able to get his Master Sword there. It's going to be still a little bit of time since Phant managed to get that shovel on the same trip as the hammer. And nice utilization of knowing what tree pull they were on with Big 20. So this may be how Phant chooses to get the rest of his rupees.
Yeah, that's definitely a good thing, is knowing the tree pools and getting your money, and that puts him over 500 there with that 300 rupees from Uncle. So maybe he will make a Zord check.
Again, they don't need a whole lot of small keys for Ganon's tower. I misspoke. You actually only need 2 small keys to clear the basement as well as to climb the tower, considering the keys on the underpots and on the mini helmas. Considering that one of them was on the blind boss and that there's usually not a whole lot of need to climb the tower, we'll have to see where that Ganon's Tower big key could be.
Houston Bob is being very, very safe here, down to a
half a heart on 4 hearts. Has not got that fairy from the refill and does take the death. We'll have to redo Thieves Town.
oof.
Alright, Phant into Hype Cave. We'll see how many of these checks we bother to open. Alright, yet another pod key. And a third pod key. 3 pod keys is enough to get us pretty deep into pod. We don't have a bow yet, though, or the big key, so will not be completable.
Yeah, it's definitely nice, though, to find those pod keys early, especially on your routing, just because of how crazy pod can get you, especially when you're missing the bow or even the hammer. So, and it looks like he's going that way. It looks like he's making his way over to pod. So,
Okay, there is...
be an interesting play.
Alright, likely something is in pod that is blocking our progression for the bow. Or perhaps the bow itself is in pod. What do you think, Bandman?
Yeah, I could see that happening, especially with how pod is laid out. I mean, it would not surprise me if we see bow early here, and then that gives us our progression throughout this dungeon without going too deep into it.
We will have to see. Phant did grab a potion from the potion shop. This may be the potion glitch over to the right side of pod.
Well, one thing that's not surprised me about this tournament so far is that it seems like it's been very common when you see a bow blocking a bow. So maybe that bow is there on the right-hand side.
Alright, Baba onto their blind fight. We find the Book of Medora here in pod. That will give us access to both of the tablets as well as desert access. And I'm not sure why Phant flipped that switch, if he was planning to go to the back.
Probably just muscle memory at this time.
Alright, Houston Baba gets their second Ganon's Tower small key. And we'll see what routing they decide to do over the south. They are coming up here to mirror in front of Blind's house. So yes, they are going to grab the shovel this time around to go grab that sword from the dig spot.
Yeah, kind of surprised he didn't do this the first time around, but I'm sure when you're just skimming that spoiler log, there's probably just a good possibility that he just overlooked it.
And we have a vanilla small key to pod in the pod basement. And yes, he went and grabbed that shovel. It's very easy for runners to accidentally, mishear their co-pilot, especially early on the seed, or, for the pilot to not realize, oh, hey, that shovel was locking a sword, my bad. So, but that's all right. Phant does get the Desert Palace Big Key. So that will enable us to complete Desert Palace with the items that we have.
Yeah, I know one thing I wish that we could put in the, be able to listen into these runners and their co-pilots. It'd be kind of interesting to hear what they would say, but I'm pretty sure some of those things they're saying would not be suitable for the young ones.
Possibly, and the other thing that I've heard from other people running in the tournament is that oftentimes, they've been practicing this for a couple of weeks. The pilot and the co-pilot have developed, their own way of speaking, their own shorthand for being able to communicate this runner to the runners. So
yeah, I'm with you. I've watched a couple of practice races from many of the runners that were prepping for this week, and some of their talk was very interesting about how they would talk to each other about where things were at.
All right, Phant doing this check down here in the Stalfos basement, getting us our Titans mitts. Very much required.
Yeah, really nice find, especially this early.
And he is going to do the mimic clip, or using the potion camera unlock clip here to get past the bowlock side of pod. By using a potion in this hallway, as you are walking to the left, it causes the camera to unlock. But he forgot to actually drink his potion.
Yeah, this was one of the problems that I know I had when I was trying to learn this little glitch here. Is you'd be going one way and you think you hit the button, but you hit something else.
Yep, and the way that the Link to the Past randomizer works is once all of the sprites are off screen, the game thinks the room is cleared and opens the door. And Houston Baba choosing now to mirror rather than go to pod here. Looks like they are going to grab some safeties.
Tempered sword there on the bowlock side.
Okay, this is where Houston Baba's decided to go and grab their potion for that glitch to get that tempered sword.
Yeah, I'm not sure which way would be faster here by just going to the potion shop, but his portal there, I mean, it was pretty convenient, so definitely good planning ahead going into pod.
All right, Phant is up on Death Mountain getting bullied by those cabbages.
Oh, it seems to be common between the cabbages and the dead rocks. It seems pretty common.
Yeah, and with that low heart, just dipping inside the back of the old man cave to reset them so it can make their way safely up the ladder, and this will be a Tower of Hera clear. Doesn't look like they have that big key to Tower of Hera, however.
Yeah, they don't have the hook shot either, so they couldn't do a Hera pod, so maybe that's a good thing that there's something we need there in Tower of Hera.
Was hoping that one of those 50-50 bushes would give him a fairy. No such luck, but we will also get the Ether Tablet, as well as the Bombos Medallion. Not technically required for this seed, but could be helpful against Cold Stare, but Phant is not making their way into Tower of Hera, or the tablet.
Yeah, he turned us into fibbers, making his way over there to East Death Mountain. So it'll be interesting to see what's over here, especially since there's a lot of checks, both Light World and Dark World.
Now, he does have the Fire Rod, Cane of Samaria, and Quake. Can go into Turtle Rock. We know it's a crystal. No small keys, though, so we'll only be able to check the 3 lobby chests. May just be opening it up for later, though, considering it is one of our crystals. We'll see if he decides to dive in. We'll not be able to check anything in Hookshot Cave, but not yet. Gonna go and likely check Super Bunny and Paradox Cave for any useful items in there.
And Houston Baba now picks up his tempered sword, so we're now on equal footing now, and they all picked the same 3 swords, just in a different order. Oh, speaking of Turtle Rock, small key, there we go.
Okay, that will get us to the vanilla big key chest in Turtle Rock.
And Houston Baba taking an unfortunate death there in Pod.
I think that was intentional, and he's not going back in to go and grab those Titan's mitts on his Book of Medora and Desert Palace big key.
Yeah, right as I said that, he walked out, and I was thinking, well, maybe it was intentional. Maybe it was a death warp trying to get out a little bit quicker. But he does have the mirrors, so.
Yeah, but sometimes if you're low enough health, you may just decide to die anyway. So, I am wondering if he didn't have no, because he has got 3 small keys, the same as Phant when he went in there.
Ooh, another key to Turtle Rock and our ice rod there in Lower Paradox Cave. So that pretty much gives us what we need there to get through Turtle Rock.
We would need 1 more Turtle Rock small key as well as the Turtle Rock big key. Houston Baba did get lucked out on those 50-50 bushes.
Oh, there's our bow.
Okay, there is the bow for Pod. Houston Baba now going into Tower of Hera will be able to full clear this dungeon, with the exception of the basement chest.
Yeah, it looks like he's just forgoing that and just making his way up to the top. Just going to go take down Moldorm there.
Now, that bow being in Paradox Cave will mean that Houston Baba will not be able to go into Turtle Rock at this point since he won't have the Titan's mitts. It is a thought that maybe he just wants to go and clear Pod first, but then it seems a little odd that he went in there just for the Tempered Sword.
Yeah, that is odd, especially for where those mitts were found. I mean, they were right there in the basement, there on the left-hand side, there in the lower basement, or right where he dropped in at before the portal to take you over to the left side of Pod.
And Phant getting trapped, got to take the long way around this room without the hook shot.
Yeah, it seems to be a common mistake when people don't have the hook shot, when going one way because of muscle memory and all that good stuff.
So Houston Baba will be able to grab the bow from this place and be able to clear Pod in one go, assuming the Pod big key is... Oh, the Pod big key was right there in Paradox.
Yeah, so it sounds like we were going to be making a double dip into Pod as it was.
Phant will be as well, but he certainly spent quite a bit of time in there getting that Book of Medora and Titan's mitts. Titan's mitts are definitely useful, giving him the half magic here in Turtle Rock, and perhaps something else.
Yeah, being 32 minutes in the game, 2 keys, he might try to get all the way down to Lazy Bridge if he can. But could be a good possibility that he could find another Turtle Rock key here in Turtle Rock.
That is very possible. We did see one of those Dark Palace keys in Dark Palace. There's a possibility that he could steal the key from the Pokey and skip that vanilla big key chest if there is nothing useful in.
Yeah, that is a good point. That he could just steal that one right there. Oh, we found the boots.
All right. And that is all that Phant came in here for. So Houston Baba, going up the mountain, will not be able to get the boots on this first trip. Boots are lovely. They, of course, help you get fast. The earlier you can get the boots, the more of an advantage it gives you. But you have to be able to use them effectively.
Yeah, there's definitely... you definitely need to know that, especially with all the tricks that are now being found with the boots, so...
The other thing is that Phant is going to have to traverse those same hallways in Turtle Rock again. And going through that first part of Turtle Rock, it doesn't matter if you have the boots or not. Phant also had to spend all that time in the Fire Rod Lock side of Turtle Rock without the hook shot. So if Houston Baba can come up to Turtle Rock with that hook shot, we'll save time.
Yeah, that he will. Phant is making his way now to back of Desert Pal. He's going to take on Lamolas here, which with Tempered Sword will be a very quick fight.
So with Tempered Sword, that will be quick. It will be his first 5/6 crystal as well, and the other one will be Pod. So he will be able to clear Pod, and I believe Houston Baba is on his way to clear Pod as well. I mean, time savings for boots, if they probably save you, I mean, depending on the seed, maybe 2 or 3 minutes a run. And, that's if you're using them effectively, if you're using them in every single possible situation. So, I mean, 2 or 3 minutes doesn't sound like a lot, but at the same time, we've seen seeds that decided by lust.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I mean, if you can get the boots and you take full advantage of them, that could be the difference between winning and losing. I know I've seen races in other rounds, as well as in past tournaments, where that's the biggest difference is how soon somebody found the boots and either last location them.
I mean, something could be boots locked, but at this point, the only thing that we are looking for is the Eastern Palace Big Key and the hook shot, unless our runners feel comfortable with hovering or doing the Moldorm bounce. We don't need any other Tower of Herrick big keys. We don't need any other pod keys. We're good for Skullwoods. We don't need to go into Ice Palace. We don't need to go into Misery Mire and the Turtle Rock big key. Sorry, the Turtle Rock big key, Eastern big key, and the hook shot.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think. I mean, here they've been running for just 36 minutes, and that's all they need to just do a dungeon run to clear everything. Oh, and speaking of health, there is our blue mail by Phant. So, blue mail, 9 hearts. I would almost say he's safe to go for the rest of the game.
I would agree. I mean, I don't know personally how comfortable he feels, but I think that should be good. He also has a bottle in reserve he can fill with a potion. And is heading now to Ice Rod Cave for that, I believe that was the Tower of Hera Big Key?
I believe you're correct.
Alright, Houston Baba on his way to the backup pod to get that Desert Big Key, as well as a Book of Medora. Book of Medora doesn't look like it... Oh no, it was the Big Key to Turtle Rock here. We have the Big Key. I can't quite recall. Let me see where that Big Key for Tower of Hera was. Oh, that was at the maze race. So Phant did not decide to go to the race game when they were doing their Kakariko checks. And considering they have cleared Thieves Town, not likely to be back in that area unless something is on the Smith chain.
I think at this point, they're probably going to make Turtle Rock and Hera their last two crystals before going into Ganon's tower. So I think he's probably not going to go get it and probably end up doing a Hera pot.
I mean, that depends on where that hookshot is. That hookshot could very well be on Trinex. And and there's a lot of discussion about, having the boots. I imagine that, while Baba is going to go and set up this hammer yump, Marty has gone and read the spoiler log, saw the boots are in Turtle Rock. Both Marty and Baba know that they have to be back at Turtle Rock at some point to get its crystal. They know they're going to get the boots, and perhaps there isn't anything boots locked along the way. And no, Baba did not check the big chest along the way. It was just 10 arrows.
Yeah, so definitely no reason to be checking that one.
All right, Phant on his way to Helmasaur. As well as Baba. So Phant a little bit ahead, but they've got similar equipment here. Both are going to go and do the Dark Turtles. Not as bad when you have the Fire Rod. You just have to know where those torches are.
Oh, looks like he's just going to battle him in the dark. Oh, nope, never mind. He turned me into a fibber again. He wasn't in the right room yet, but now he's in that room that you were referring to. Yep.
As long as you know where those lamps are, that saves a lot of time. Tempered Sword makes easy work of the turtles, assuming sword beams don't get in the way.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the downfalls of when you're on a tempered sword and have full health. Unfortunately, from my understanding, the sword beams only do kind of like fighter shield damage, so.
All right, Phant on to his Helmasaur fight. Baba also doing the Terrapin room. Good point in chat that the Ice Rod was in Paradox Cave. Baba went in there to grab his bow, did not grab the Ice Rod at that time. And I believe you meant fighter sword damage.
Yeah, Willard's trolling me, I guess. But that's all right. It won't be the first time. Probably sure won't be the last, so it's all good, Willard.
That is the third crystal for Phant, as well as our Pyramid Fairy crystal. Figure there's something here at Pyramid Fairy that we need?
Being this early with the 5-6, I would probably say yeah.
What are you thinking it could be? Like we said, we still need that hookshot, Eastern Big Key.
Being is what the big key for Eastern's been kind of trolly lately. I wouldn't surprise me one bit to see the Eastern Palace big key there.
Alrighty, we will see. Chat, how about your guesses? Is it Eastern Big Key, hookshot, or is it a fetch quest, or maybe something else? Get one call for hookshot. Someone else is calling for the mushroom. Okay. Someone's calling for GT Big Key. That's a good call. That's another thing we need, and we have not seen yet. Someone calling for the Castle Tower second key. That's a good point. You know what? We don't know what's on Lumberjack Ledge. Could be our hookshot could very well be behind Aga 2, and those Castle Tower keys are buried deep.
Yeah, those would definitely be kind of trolly for a castle for something on Lumberjack needing to go all the way through Agnum Tower.
All right, Houston Baba on his way back to Desert. Similarly, Tempered Sword, Fire Rod. No half magic, as that was in Super Bunny Cave. Houston Baba did not have the Titan's Mitts on top of Death Mountain. And we will see shortly what is in the pyramid.
Ooh,
Who is that the call? GM Big Kev, are you a witch? Do you want that mushroom? Because we're going to be turning that mushroom in real quick.
Wow, fetch quest for fetch quest. Wow. And Phant's just getting bodied by those blue guards. Oof.
That's alright. He's got the blue mail, picked up that safety, and we will see shortly what this mushroom is holding. Ooh, Houston Baba just missing those fire rod shots on Lanmo, and that is the hook shot on the mushroom.
Wow, that's kind of a trolly location there for that hook shot, but I bet you both runners will eventually be glad to see that.
This is a seed where you're, I think, hoping that your opponent doesn't feel comfortable hovering, because otherwise that would possibly not be required. All you would have had to do is grab the boots from Turtle Rock on the way up. But obviously Phant doesn't feel comfortable hovering or doing Muldorm bounce. And this is him climbing the mountain again. I'm guessing that probably our eastern big key is in Turtle Rock or in Hookshot Cave.
And while Phant was making his way up up to the mountain, Houston finally did take down Lamels there with Desert Palace. So that puts him at 4 crystals now, with compared to Phant's 3.
Oh, listen to that mirror spam. It's music to my ears. And I hope that Phant isn't just going up here to do Turtle Rock, but he is going inside of Hookshot Cave. Now, this could be the Ganon's Tower Big Key as well, but if it's the Eastern Big Key, then this would absolutely be another required trip up the mountain.
And there's our Eastern Palace Big Key.
And grabbing a little extra safety along the way in the form of the magic powder. Not so bad to grab.
Oh yeah, especially going up that tower. Getting those last fairies and magic refill before you go into that final Muldorm fight. And Phant going back into Turtle Rock. I think he's going to finish this time, so he's got everything he needs.
And Houston Baba was about to go and turn his big bong. Kind of forgot to buy it.
That's not the worst move I've seen today.
Alright, I imagine that Phant will be stealing the key from the Pokey. That will get him to Laser Bridge, but we'll need another TR Small in order to open the door to Trinex.
That's true. I think it'll be safe to say that there's going to be another Turtle Rock key here, and they'll pick it up on their way.
We will have to see. Houston Baba also only at 1 TR Small Key. We'll find another one up on Death Mountain. Steals the key from the Pokey.
Yeah, and Houston picked up his mushroom, so he's going to go get his hook shot here in a few.
Alright, are you going to go down or right? He is going right. We are skipping Mimic Cave, skipping the big chest. There's nothing of importance for there. Phant is heading straight back to Crystal Roller Room. And Houston Baba is about to go and get his hook shot. Yes, spoiler log co-pilot key sanity. It is a big mouthful, and it is a big game for the runners. The co-pilot got the spoiler log at the word go. The runners started racing, and immediately we're giving instructions to the runners as to what chests to open, which ones to leave behind, and what safeties do you need.
Well, I think both runners are going to be comfortable. They both have a bottle with some sort of potion in it. But I think they both have used it already though, and haven't refilled. Phant picked up that powder, so I think he's probably good to go the rest of the time.
Going to grab the safety door here in Turtle Rock, just in case.
Yeah, definitely a smart move if you're not 100% here on these laser skips. Definitely tough trying to get these done.
Well, there's our butter sword, so that's a nice find on Laser Bridge.
Most definitely going to make this fight here with Trinexa even more faster than what it already is. Ooh, and Phant taking a death, but luckily though he's got that safety door, so he's just going to start there at the bottom of that room.
All right. Generally, a lot of runners will like to go all the way up to the top of the room and reset the hard hat beetle, and there is that small key on Laser Bridge. He has enough keys to get to Trinex.
Man, this mini Moldorm is being a little rude here.
The mini helmet, yeah, they're annoying to get to. Houston Baba about to go and grab that Eastern big key.
Yeah, Phant took advantage of having that powder by getting that fairy. He's definitely in good place right now to take on Trinex here with 7.5 hearts, or 8.5 hearts.
8.5 hearts will get that magic refill right here under that pot. And
Yeah.
Butter Sword makes it fairly easy.
Yeah, that and
We'll
half
see
magic. Yeah, this will be nothing. It'll be done in less than 10 seconds probably.
As long as you get your timing right, is not going for the backdoor strats, may not feel comfortable with it. It's another one of those bosses where you want to try to avoid that you don't get those sword beams on the head. Alright, Phant will take down Trinex right here while Houston makes her way into Ganon's Tower. Again, we'll have a slightly quicker... Not Ganon's Tower, oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Turtle Rock will have a slightly faster Fire Rod side, having the hook shot navigate those rooms.
Just remember, it's a Monday. It's been a long weekend. If you did any of the cross key raises last week, I'm pretty sure your brain hasn't yet recovered over the weekend, so it's okay.
I wish that we had another cross keys tournament. I love cross keys. But anyway, we are talking about spoiler log co-pilot key sanity. Phant has the Eastern big key and just has Skullwoods, and that left clear down here, and then take care of Tower of Hera on his way into Ganon's Tower. We still haven't seen that Ganon's Tower big key. What are you thinking, Bandman? Is it going to be nice and in Skullwoods or Eastern, or are we going to have to go way out of our way for that Ganon's Tower big key?
Oh, the way this season's gone so far, the way that we had to get that hook shot, I'm going to say it's probably in GT. I'm not going to say it's going to be. I'm not saying it's going to be deep in GT. I'm going to say probably in one of those first couple of rooms, either Hope Room or on the torch.
We will have to see. Phant was in Eastern earlier. He went to the compass chest to grab his moon pearl. We'll see if he runs straight to the back or if he decides to do a quick open of the big chest. Just as Phant is making his way to the back, you can see Sexy Ganons have 21 points on the season. That's equivalent to 7 wins. Is fighting for one of the playoff spots in this division. Hasn't guaranteed one yet.
Yeah, I actually was looking at the standings before this race even happened. Both these teams are here in the Misery Mire division. Overall, the Sex Gans are 7-3, while Missing Bow is at 4-6 so far in the league, and that's through the 5 weeks so far. So,
absolutely, Sexy Ganons could guarantee a playoff spot if they win both of the races this week over Missing Bow.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how amazing this tournament's been so far with all the different categories that's been in this league, and it's really hard to believe that we actually have several teams that are still undefeated. So this league is definitely one that I hope continues in the future.
Absolutely, but Phant is on their way to the Armos Knights as Houston Baba is making their way to the back of Turtle Rock, small key in hand.
He ended up letting a couple of those Armos get away, but still be fairly quick fight here.
Fairly quick, doesn't quite get the big quick kill. Get a nice bottle from the Armos Knights. That'll be an extra little bit of safety climbing the tower.
Yeah, and that gives Phant his 5th crystal, with Skullwoods probably coming next, and then finishing up there on Tower Hera.
Absolutely. So, chat, so where do you think this big key might be? We see Phant going over here towards Ice Palace.
That was definitely kind of an unexpected play here. So, since he's here, this is probably where one of our big keys got to be at. I would probably have to say maybe our Hera big key is right here.
Well, no, because we saw that Hera big key on race game. We don't need anything for the Hera big key.
That is a good point.
Oh, and Baba takes a death on Laser Ridge before getting to that safety door. Has to go all the way back from... Oh, no, did get the safety door. My mistake. Okay, so it is not in that first chest of Iced Palace.
Oh, we're going to see ourselves a little icebreaker here tonight.
Alright, this would be... It's not in the vanilla big key chest.
I think that's the fastest I've ever seen anybody do that icebreaker. Wow.
Alright, are we on our way here to this map chest? It is in the map chest. And
wow.
This is one of the things where if you're not familiar with the spoiler log and the layout of the vanilla dungeons, that can throw you off because you may think the map chest is that very first chest with the pen gators. So Phant is now in go mode, only has Skullwoods and Tower of Hera left before entering Ganon's Tower. Alright.
Down goes Trinex there for Houston Baba, so that gives him his 5th crystal.
Yeah, and Phant, though, I believe, has a bit of a commanding lead, will be able to Hera pot in Tower of Hera, has already got that Eastern crystal, and is on his way to Skull Woods. So it would, this is not insurmountable, but Phant would have to make some significant mistakes, and Houston Baba would have to have a perfect run going forward. Silvers, I will give you a look. I will tell the chat where the silvers are. So chat, where would you like the silvers to be? Some people calling GT Church, some people calling Saha. See, a lot of correct answers. Yes, our other progressive bow is on the Master Sword pedestal.
Ooh, ouch. Well, they're definitely not going to be getting that today.
Absolutely not. Houston Baba gonna go and take care of Skullwoods before Eastern. Phant gonna have no issues at all with Half Magic, Fire Rod, and the Butter Sword on Mothula.
We'll say hopefully he's going to not be staying up there on those spikes the whole time.
He's fine, and just like that, Mothula's down, that explodes, that's crystal number 6 for Phant. One more climb up the mountain to take care of Moldorm in Tower of Hera. Just a huge shout out to both of these runners and their pilots. Phant with Freddy, reading him out all of the locations. Houston Baba with Marty. This is an intense mode. If you ever run a regular spoiler race, that's intense enough. This with no study time, add key sanity on top of that. It's really crazy. And Phant just going to refill in potions just in case. It's a quick flute.
Yeah, I don't blame him for this one. I mean, even though he's at 9 hearts, blue male, you never know what GT's going to throw at us. Maybe we'll be having a great run, but then all of a sudden, GT just throws a curveball at us.
Alright, Phant making his way up the mountain. There was a request to find where the lamp was. It was actually in the Desert Palace compass chest. So considering our layout of pod with the big key in the dark maze and the book to Desert Palace in the back, I believe that was going to be a required double dip pod, but who cares about logic and requirements when you know the whole thing in front of themselves? We have a friendly little hammerium to take care of everything. Baba on his way into Ice Palace to go grab his big key. And taking the dark side ascent up to Turtle Rock.
He's actually making his way to Hera for his last crystal.
You're right. I imagine he will take care of Harapot right here, and quick as a whistle, he will take care of Moldorm too with that butter sword.
Well, if that many Moldorm ever wants to go down, there he goes.
Gonna use spin speed setup and grab that piece of heart. Maybe planning to, if there's a piece of heart at the top of Ganon's tower, that's a nice way to guarantee yourself a refill before Ganon.
Oh yeah, especially when we get ready for Tower Ganon. I mean, Moldorm won't be much of a hard hitter, but you never know. Sometimes we like to call him Trolldorm for a reason.
All right, gets the Harapot up to the top of Tower of Hera, taking a ferry for safety. And Houston Baba on his way to get his 7th crystal from Eastern Palace. Phant will have a significant lead going up the tower. Baba will have to complete Eastern and reclimb Death Mountain. Phant just needs to kill Moldorm and jump in his mirror portal.
Yeah, unfortunately, we will not be playing the big key guessing game today, mainly for the fact they already got it. So,
yes, our big key was in the Ice Palace map chest, so we will get to watch Phant as he climbs up Ganon's tower and executes this gauntlet with 9 hearts and blue mail and the butter sword. Should be an easy climb, but anything can happen. Obviously nothing of interest in the Hope chest, even in terms of safeties. He is heading straight up to the spike room. Going through that with minimal effort. Time to round up these red mimics. Position them correctly with your bow. They'll never shoot their eye lasers at you. It's a great skill to have. Great way to take care of it. Always a little bit more difficult to line up the mimics here, but Phant showing that he's an expert. Barely even bodied by those Beamos. And Houston Baba is on his way to his Armos fight. See if he can grab the quick kill. Phant had a little bit of issues with it as he makes his way through Ganon Ball Z.
Well, other than the one arrow going the wrong direction, that was a pretty clean fight.
Pretty clean. Still didn't quite get the quick kill. Phant showing off a combination of sword and fire rod shots with half magic. You might as well take it while it's good. Getting really nice patterns from the Zyzax. Already onto his way into Gauntlet 4.
Yeah, this gauntlet here does not looking very challenging for Phant today. He's as fast as he's going through all that, all the enemies here playing fairly nice, so.
And that is the gauntlet done for Phant. Is going to powder this Bunny Beam before Landmo 2. This throws Landmo slightly off a rhythm if you're planning to set up the 0 cycle, but with Butter Sword and Fire Rod, it's not going to take much time anyway.
Just 2 swings of each, and they're both done.
All right, on to Wizrobe 1, a single Cane of Samaria block, well placed to take out these 3 shooters. Nicely.
It's always satisfying to see that one done.
And once again into Wizrobes 2, a single Cane of Samaria block and a sword swing. Oh, doesn't quite get it. We'll have to clean up these Wizrobes once more.
There they go.
Pretty good. That's not going to be a big enough mistake in order for Houston Baba to make up the time. Did take the slightly quicker route of going up Light Death Mountain and taking the TR portal. As long as the Dead Rocks cooperate with you, it is quicker than climbing up Dark Death Mountain. Alright, Phant through Torches 1 on their way into Torches 2.
Yeah, pausing just a little bit here. Nothing worse than climbing GT and managing to despawn the whole last couple floors there.
We'll have to grab the key from the mini helmet here. And that's 2 full keys. I think I was just checking that chest in case there was a piece of heart. And Houston Baba is low on arrows. That was the downside of finishing Eastern Palace second. Did not get any arrow drops.
Yeah, I don't think he took. He was started out at full, but didn't really quite get the refills all of them there in Eastern Palace. But at the same time, Phant just takes a fall to good old Troll Dorm there.
Chat calling out that Phant had checked the stun prize, and the stun prize was arrows. So that was well done by Phant and his router Freddy for looking at that. We did see that Houston Baba had picked up both boomerangs earlier. Could have checked that stun prize. Maybe didn't have a chance to. It's a very hectic mode. And no lucky last heart piece in Moldorm 2. Phant is on his way to Aga 2. This is pretty much in the bag.
Well, hopefully he's much better geometry than I ever was. So.
Alright, on to Aga 2. Only gets a single on the first one.
Man, Houston Baba taking the safety room there. You don't see that very often.
Only at 6 hearts. Phant had picked up a couple more heart containers along the way. Alright, nice double on that cycle. And there is... You go ahead, call it.
I'll say there goes Aga 2. Now it's time to go fight the big pig.
Alright, Butter Sword, half magic. No, silver is not going to be an issue. It's just going to be 6 slashes phase 1, 6 slashes phase 2, 4 slashes phase 3, and 12 spins for phase 4. Words of wisdom from Ganon today. A little bit of cynicality here. Link is the hero of courage and endless streams of optimism.
Oh! Phant taking a death on a Ganon.
Alright, he's still got plenty of time left. Doesn't want to take too many of those Ganon hugs. With blue mail, Ganon does do 4 hearts on a hug, I believe. Chat may be able to correct me on that. He does have a red potion in his inventory.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Doing 4, because I believe on green mail it does 8. Ooh, but he took a hit there from the bat, so he's down to 3 hearts. But luckily, though, like you said, he did have that red potion, so...
Being very cautious here. Doesn't want to take too many hits from the fireballs. No cape strats. We don't have a cape. No hookshot invulnerability strats. He's just waiting for Ganon to teleport into nice locations, taking the hits when he can.
Yeah, now he's finally into phase 3. Ooh, took another hit to that bat, which took down 3 hearts. Man, he's got to be... I'm sure he's pretty safe from here on out, but still might want to play a little cautious.
Once you do get into phase 3, it is a safer form of the fight. And even with Silverless, that is possibly the safest part of the fight, because Ganon is very predictable. One thing that is of note, since this is a spoiler seed, the pilot and the co-pilot could be watching this stream and telling the runner how much time they have. So Phant knows Baba is still in Ganon's tower. He has plenty of time to set up these triples. Using Fire Rod to give himself the time to set up these spins.
If my count is correct, that's halfway. There's 6 right there.
And Houston Baba has completed Ganon's tower. Gets another bonk for their fantasy pool fans. That making nice work of the space for Ganon. Getting those perfect spins to take care of Ganon's frame-perfect invulnerability, but since the spin animation lasts for several frames, you've got a bit of a larger window in order to do damage to him.
And down goes Ganon.
Alright, all Phant needs to do is cross that ever-treacherous 1x3 bridge. He'll do his done in SRL, and we'll get to call out the official time. And that is GG for Phant and the Sexy Ganons, finishing in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 36 seconds. Get some GGs in chat.
GG's to Phant there, man. That was a great run. It looks like Houston Baba is making his way into Ganon. He's going to take down his big pig. Going to finish out his run.
Absolutely. Let's get some hype in chat for Houston Baba's Ganon fight. Doing it for those fantasy points. We're just going to finish off watching Houston Baba's Ganon fights before we start interviews.
Ooh.
Taking a death. He was going pretty reckless there on Ganon. No fairies, but that's alright. You spawn on top of the pyramid.
Now into phase 2.
Yep, going for the super quick phase 2 strats, using some hookshot invulnerability to avoid damage from the fireballs. Already on to phase 3. See what kind of Ganon warps they have. Both of our runners did take a death on Ganon. That means that the Ganon pattern was not set for both players. It's always only ever set on the first fight of Ganon. People keep talking about Ham, and I keep calling it Gammon. I don't know what's going on about that.
All of a sudden it's like I say, slurring your speech. Like I said, I think it's probably one of the side effects of those cross key races.
I think it's just the super speedy key sanity. I can't speak fast enough to keep track of it all. You look at this, 111. Baba's on pace for about a 116. Didn't quite get that fire rod shot. Missed that one spin, but does not take long with Butter or Tempered. Butter and Tempered both do the same damage. You can theoretically take Ganon with slashes, but it's not worth it. And that is Houston Baba done. So we'll go and talk with Phant and his pilot Freddy and get Baba and Marty in here shortly. So GG's Phant and Freddy.
Thanks, GG. GG's.
So how much practice had you guys done beforehand here?
Well, before this week, not a ton. This week, though, we did quite a few. Mostly just to get a feel for how people are running and like what kind of safeties Phant is running. Because I'm actually piloting for both of our seeds, so I've been trying to split time between Phant and our other teammate Yagama, just to try to make sure I get which tendencies what they're okay with. So we can get enough safeties out of the way. I was actually pretty happy with how hearts and such lined up, so we were pretty safe going through it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. You guys got a lot of extra safeties early. So that hookshot placement, I imagine that you were putting off Hera number 1 just to be able to mirror before Ganon's tower, and number 2 to be able to get that hookshot first.
I mean,
yeah, because we found out we didn't need anything from Hera. Freddy knocked that out pretty early that, we can just Hera pot this at the end. No point going in here right now.
I don't know if you guys knew it was in the basement, but that scared me for a second. Because the basement, or the key-locked big key chest in Hera was actually the swamp small key. So for a second I panicked, forgetting that swamp was a pendant. I'm like, oh, okay, we need to go to the blacksmith to get the Hera small key, to then go grab the swamp small key, to then go do... Oh, wait. There's nothing in swamp. Never mind. We don't have to do any of that.
Yeah, but largely what we did in practice is obviously the early game is very important in these spoiler pilot races. You're really rushing to either get bombs or money to buy bombs because of how critical they are. So we ended up doing the route I think a lot of people have arrived at, where you just start from Link's house by default, assume Sank you can get later, and you can pick up some easy bombs on the way to Kakariko, and by then you usually have knowledge that hey, most of these bomb spots you don't actually need, so oftentimes one bomb is enough, which is why I went in with one bomb early on. It's always a little bit of a risk doing that, but we find it works out more often than not to be comfortable with a single bomb opening up.
Yeah, I noticed early on that, or I didn't really notice early on, because I wasn't really paying much attention to the restream early on, just because there's a little bit too much delay, and there's too much stuff to do for the pilot in the first, especially 20 to 30 minutes. But I noticed they did finish Hera earlier, which means they must have done maze race for the Hera Biggie.
Yes. Baba had started with Houlihan to get their money, then started from Link's house, did the south route, and immediately used that one bomb from the 50-50 bushes to go and take care of the race game.
Yeah, Houlihan probably, in hindsight, would have been definitely a good idea on that one. We just hadn't been practicing doing that first. I've been noticing quite a few people have been, and it's not a bad idea. Like this time I was kind of stretching for both pod money and then the potion money. Forgetting that bow was still required to finish the boss, but
Yeah,
one
that was
thing at
kind
a
of
time, I guess.
Yeah, that was kind of the big difference between both you and Houston Bobby. While he went to the Houlihan room and got a couple 300s, while you were just finding rupees as you were going. So, and then finding all the hearts. Was that in your plan through for the race? Was to find that health, or just kind of just if it's on the way, great. If not, then just so be it.
If it's on the way, usually if it's like within a couple seconds, I'll go get it. A couple ones I don't normally get, but we got this time just because we were looking at the restream periodically, say like, okay, how are they doing? Are we in the lead? Are we behind? Do we need to skimp? Do we not need to skimp? And by the time like I did a mirror to go turn in the bottle for Sick Kid, that was probably one of the longer hearts I got. I think we thought at the time we were ahead. So I was like, okay, let's go do this. And that also was why I went down, got Butter Sword, because that was like right there. Why we went and got the Tempered Sword pretty early. A lot of things like that were decisions based off of how we felt we were doing based on the restream.
Yeah, a lot of the early game stuff. I mean, you were like when you went and got the first sword there out of the digging game, he kind of overlooked that. Well, he didn't overlook it. He got it a little bit later than you did. So
yeah, we were thinking of just routing that in with Stumpy because we needed to. I believe Stumpy was a pod key in this one. I don't know. I forget what he had.
It was something. Yeah, I think it was a pod key. Yeah.
Yeah. So like it would have been more efficient to just do that and then mirror, go get a sword. But figured, let's just go get it now.
I'd already been like, oh hey, there's a sword. Go do it. Oh wait, we need to do Stumpy. So we'll do it with a mirror. But it's like, too late. I'm going. It's a sword. It's worth it. Like, okay, sure.
Yep.
So
I'll go out of my way for swords, at least up to tempered. And then if butter is super convenient, like it was in this scene, it's like, yeah, for sure we're gonna get that. But
so one question I did want to ask was, Friday, were you watching the stream once Phant was climbing Ganon's tower, and you're telling him that he can just take it nice and slow and easy on Ganon? Because it seemed like you were having a very cautious Ganon fight. You weren't going for the 1-in-1. You weren't going for triples and all.
Yeah, we were pretty much once we got to Turtle Rock, I was done because it was just get those tooth chests and laser bridge and then go do the rest of the bosses and dip ice palace for the hammer, or not for the hammer, for the big key. And so I was pretty much watching the stream and giving kind of regular updates. Just you're ahead, no rush. Just do stuff as you get to it. Do what you need. Go ahead and grab that bottle, no problem. And I just, at that point, I leave it up to the runner to let me know if he needs anything. If not, just let him do the thing.
And were you looking for that one last piece of heart at the top of Ganon's tower, opening up the mini Helma chest and the mini Moldworm chest?
No, I wasn't. I was just for the mini Helmasaur one. I was like, sure, what the heck.
He had enough hearts that I wasn't really worrying about the pieces of heart. I didn't actually check if he had 3 or not.
That's I was fine on health, and I know I took a death to Ganon. That was a little bit embarrassing, and honestly, I kind of like mentally blanked there that I could just tank another hit at 3 hearts. But oh no, you're not on Red Mill. You can't take another hit with this. I was like, oh, so that was kind of like a little bit surprising that I died there. And then for the next one, I miscounted 6 hits on Ganon. So that's why it took so long to do the. I was going for the 1-on-1, but it just didn't. I miscounted badly. And at that point, I was like, okay, yeah, let's just take it slow and do it fine. I did the same thing with the sword spins. I didn't bother going for any triples, and just wanted to make sure I got the torch glitch, just because it's nice and easy. I had the blue potion just in case, specifically for torch glitch. That's if I missed it, even with half magic, what if things go very badly? What if I die? So that's kind of like what the blue potion was for going in. It turns out I didn't need it at all. And still definitely took it slower than usual.
And one other question. So I totally understand when you're on Death Mountain, going into Turtle Rock for the boots. Why did you decide to do the Firelock side?
The Firelock side had half magic.
Half magic's nice.
I forget what else it had. There was something else.
It's a heart.
It was like a heart and half magic. That was also a decision based off of where we felt we were at.
Okay.
Yeah.
You could have got the half magic the second time into Turtle Rock when you
Yeah.
had the hook shot, I guess, but that's fair enough. I totally understand. Do you think the boots were worth it?
I think they were worth.
Worth double
If it
dipping
was-
Turtle Rock?
If it was any deeper than chain chomps, I would have not had him go for it. But with it only being at chain chomps and we could actually get in there and do it, there is no reason really not to. Especially since I had made the mistake already of forgetting we didn't have hookshot. I'm like, well, we're gonna get at least boots, and yeah, sure, get roller room while you're there too. It's a half magic. It's nice to have.
Yeah, but it was definitely a ton of. We're only doing these types of moves or something, essentially because we are allowed to watch our opponent. And, that definitely impacts things
Some
greatly.
of it was, yeah. Some of it I had. Boots were just because I wanted him to do it.
I trust my pilot.
Because boots are good. Plus, we were going to go to desert already anyway at that point, and desert is nicer with boots, even if we didn't need to go to the front at all.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's
Any last thoughts about this seed?
shout outs to stun prize being 10 arrows. Which happened to be like 7 arrows is a couple short for mimics on the started Ganon's tower. No arrows there, no arrows there. What's the stun? Oh, stun prize is arrows. Go kill Blooper.
And so after Parapod, got my arrow refill. Off to the end.
Shout outs to Hookshot Cave actually requiring hookshot. That's a thing.
So with that hookshot only, required, for that, it wasn't required for Swamp. Technically a hover seed? Was that word tried at all?
No, lately for the league, I've been practicing, a whole bunch of new strats, like obviously stuff like Diver Down, Icebreaker, Harapot, a couple of the big time saves. Before this, I didn't know how to do spooky action, learn how to do spooky action. And hovers is on the last of my things to learn. Once I get comfortable with everything else, I was like, okay, yeah, now it's time let's throw in hovering, take it to the next level. Haven't gotten there yet. Still plenty of practice to be done elsewhere before I think about doing that.
Ooh, shout outs to your Icebreaker. That was silky smooth. Like, that was gorgeous.
Yeah, actually, when that happened, that was the smoothest I've ever done it. And I asked Fred, I was like, hey, are you watching? What does chat think of this? Apparently, chat liked it. So that was a little bit of a confidence booster at that point.
Oh, yeah, that was the smoothest I've ever seen it. And I've been, ever since that strat became legal, it seemed like it takes everybody 2, 3, 4 times to get it done. But that was the fastest I've ever seen it.
All right. Well, glad I could be that person pulling it off.
All right. Well, GG's once again. Well run. Have the game 2 of this matchup tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern. Yagamoth, piloted by Frede, will be for the Sexy Ganons, and Tale will be running for Missing Bow with Baba doing the piloting for her. So keep an eye on that. That will be on Speed Gaming 3 at 5 p.m. Eastern. But that is all for this race for tonight. Please give our runners a follow. They are doing a great job in the league. And make sure to give a follow to those pilots as well. Huge shout out to our tracker iKeer. Items were coming in fast and furious. Key Sanity is a bit of a pain to track, especially when you're not sure where the runners are going. But great job, and thanks for commenting with me, Man.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully we can do it again soon.
Absolutely. So if you haven't had enough of the Key Sanity, in 30 minutes on this channel, there will be another co-op spoiler Key Sanity. The Super Salty Dungeoneers versus the Cool Rush Gamers. That will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Sonny Ruff 11 for the Super Salty Dungeoneers. Bum Rush Blitz for the Cool Rush Gamers. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern on Speed Gaming 5, Clown Parade, Dracaris, and Flip Heel representing the 16-bit nerds will be doing this mode. And then we've got a whole bunch on the schedule for Tuesday, Wednesday, all this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. So be sure to follow Speed Gaming 2 through 6 to see all of the matchups. Take a look at ALTTPRleague.com for the standings, the schedule, the teams. Second last week, those playoff spots are filling up quick, but they are far from decided. Be sure to follow as well our friends on the ALTTPR League and the ALTTPR League 2 through 4. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, y'all.